Welcome to the Dino Watch Podcast, a show helping you to separate the facts from the fiction as we look at incident reports from the world and break down where dinosaurs have been sighted in the wild. In episode 2 of this show, we will be looking at the impact that the dinosaurs have had on rural America, including our farming communities. A report from the Department of Agriculture has suggested that farms and other areas which rely on the outdoors have seen huge disruptions since 2018, with crop yields at an all-time low due to some of the damage which has been attributed to dinosaur herds. Indeed, there are plenty of stories out there, from tales of towering apatosaurs taking out a whole wheat field in a single step, to herds of Nasutoceratops wiping out an entire crop field and destroying any equipment in their way. Whilst there is a tangible cost to the jobs of people up and down the country, there is also a real human life cost too. Agricultural infrastructure can attract all kinds of interest from the dinosaurs, including some not so pleasant attention. Today, we're going to be talking to Cheryl, whose family were pestered by a flock of Compsognathus at the start of 2019, leading to almost deadly consequences. Cheryl, thank you for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do for a living?
Thank you. Well, my family and I raise cattle and grow hay on our farm.
Okay, and without giving away the location, just to sort of protect your own safety and security, your family own a farm that's in Oregon, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you for the extra context there. That's really useful. So we know that in 2019, you had a run-in with a not so pleasant flock of Compsognathus. Can you describe for us how that started?
Of course, we have a good-sized chicken coop, and I was picking up that morning's eggs when I heard the strangest sounds coming from around the front of the coop. My daughter, Marabel, was giggling, and there was a sound almost like hen clucking, but sharper, higher pitched. All of a sudden, she screamed and came tearing around the corner, being chased by a flock of lizards, not chickens. The dog was barking, and I grabbed the rake and shooed him away.
Okay, so it sounds like quite a tense encounter indeed. And I was interested, had you seen any other activity from dinosaurs up until that point? So we know that there's been stories out in the wild around farmers having different problems with them. So did you experience any of that, or were you lucky? And has this just been one of those isolated incidents?
We had been lucky up until that point.
Yeah.
We're not situated too close to the migration patterns of other animals like deer and elk. So most of the dinosaur activity had been happening to the west of us.
Okay, so if we focus on the specific incident that you did experience then whilst your daughter Marabel was running away from the animals, we understand that she got bit. Is that correct?
She did, on her arm.
Okay, and from what you said beforehand, specifically in some of the back and forth we had ahead of this show, you said that the bite made her very unwell. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. And it was the worst. She was very sick, and the wound was swollen and turning black.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't sound good. So I've seen some documents recently from the Department of the Interior, which suggest that Compsognathus could have a venomous bite. So how did the hospital respond when you had the chance to take her in?
Well, they hadn't seen anything like it. It was worse than a snake bite. They put her on a gurney and gave her antibiotics to help with the infection, and they took it very seriously.
Did they say if they'd seen anything like this before, or was this the first incident that they'd encountered?
Marabel was the first victim in our area. But by the end of the day, there were 10 more.
Jeez. So,
Mm-hmm.
wow, that's a huge number.
Yeah.
So since that's happened, obviously that goes to show that this is an ongoing risk. So what measures have you taken with the farm specifically since this happened to look after it? And do you have any tips for other people on how they can keep animals like compies away?
Well, they seem to really like our chickens. So we've strung up cans around the perimeter of the coop and installed security lights on each corner. And they don't seem to like the noises, like when the cans bang together, and they certainly do not like the bright lights. So That's what I would advise people if they're having compy problems.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be really useful for people. So obviously that's some fantastic advice on how we can avoid encounters with them. But that's
Thank
just
you.
one element to this, and there's a much wider problem here. So what do you think we need to do to fix things right now, Cheryl? How do we deal with the dinosaurs?
I think we should just round them up and shoot them.
Simple as that. Wow.
Mm-hmm. They're
Okay.
dangerous.
Yeah, no, I can certainly see your point with that, and obviously you've had a lot of personal experience there that informs that as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah, totally understandable.
Mm-hmm.
And on that more somber note than perhaps I expected, that's really it for this interview. So thank you so much for giving us your time.
You're welcome, and God bless.
As you've heard there, even the smallest dinosaurs can pose a real threat in the new world which we find ourselves in. The run-in that Cheryl's family had with the Compsognathus is one of hundreds of stories that have filled the show's inbox since we broadcast our debut episode, showcasing how many encounters with these animals are now a part of the everyday world which we live in. Next week, we've cherry-picked one of the most interesting emails we received, and we will be talking to a California Highway Patrol officer who was silenced after being dispatched to a call-out which involved a run-in with a dinosaur. Stay tuned for more details on this harrowing encounter very soon. If you enjoy the show, make sure to subscribe wherever you listen. Together, we can learn how to survive with dinosaurs in the wild.